artificial intelligence. It's moving so fast. It's not just about the software anymore, is it?
No, not at all. It's really about the hardware.
Exactly. And right now, one company, Nvidia, seems to be caught right in the crosshairs. A major geopolitical struggle between the US and China. So today we're doing a deep dive trying to understand how these AI chips became, so critical to national security.
Right. And this balancing act Nvidia is doing is fascinating.
And what it means for the future of tech, really. It's especially relevant now, isn't it, with Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang heading to Beijing. Okay, so let's get into it. Why Nvidia? What makes their chips, like the H100 GPU, so important here?
Well, the H100 is sort of the super engine for the big AI models we keep hearing about. Think large language models, complex simulations.
The really cutting-edge stuff.
Exactly. And what's interesting is the demand. It's not just tech companies anymore. Governments, defense sectors, they all want that computational power for, processing massive amounts of data.
So these aren't just commercial products anymore. They're strategic.
Absolutely. Which leads to the conflict, right? The U.S. restrictions.
Right. So Nvidia has this massive market in China, but the U.S. is worried. How did Nvidia adapt?
They created a workaround, essentially, the H20 chip. It's a version designed specifically to comply with U.S. export rules for China. Scaled down.
Scaled down, so not as powerful.
Not for the training part, the really heavy lifting of building an AI model from scratch. But, and this is key, it's still very useful for running models that are already trained. That's called inference.
Okay, inference. So still valuable.
Very. And there's another layer here. Why is the demand still strong even for this less powerful chip? It comes down to NVIDIA's software. CUDA? It's their proprietary software platform. So many Chinese companies have built their AI applications on it. Switching away is really difficult, expensive, kind of locks them into NVIDIA's hardware ecosystem.
That makes sense. It creates dependency, which I guess brings us back to the U.S. concerns.
Precisely. The worry is that even these adapted chips could help accelerate China's military tech, its intelligence capabilities.
And that's why we saw those export controls starting back in 2022 and getting tighter.
Yes, wave after wave. They even banned the export of the H20 earlier this year, showing how seriously they view this.
So policy is treating AI hardware like a strategic asset now, not just, another tech product.
Definitely. You saw that bipartisan letter, right? Senators Warren and Banks urging Huang not to meet with any military-linked groups on his trip. That was July 11th.
Just before the article.
Yeah. And then there was that recent report about DeepSeek, a Chinese AI firm, allegedly using shell companies to get restricted tech for military purposes. It shows these aren't just theoretical risks.
Wow. Okay, so the concerns are real, the restrictions are tightening, but China is still a massive market for NVIDIA, right?
It's huge. Looking at the fiscal year ending January 2024, NVIDIA made $17 billion in revenue from China. That's, 13% of their global sales?
13%. That's significant. So NVIDIA is caught in this bind, national security versus shareholder value.
It's a classic dilemma, amplified by geopolitics. Jensen Huang talked about this, actually, in a CNN interview recently.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
He tried to downplay the risk, basically. Said China's military simply can't rely on U.S. tech because, access could be cut off anytime.
Implying they need their own domestic capabilities.
Right. He argued China already has significant computing power and doesn't need American tech stacks for military stuff.
But how does that square with things like the DeepSeek report? It seems like there's still an effort to get U.S. tech, even covertly.
That's the tension. And even these adapted chips like the H20 aren't safe from policy changes. Huang himself admitted recent restrictions could hit their China revenue hard, maybe slash it by up to $15 billion.
$15 billion. That's a huge potential hit. So what's their next move?
Well, reports suggest they're planning another adaptation, a lower-cost version of their newest chips, the Blackwell series, specifically for China.
Trying to keep a foothold, even if the market is shrinking due to restrictions.
Kind of a temporary fix, maybe. It highlights just how tricky this is for them.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together. What's the big picture takeaway here?
We're seeing a major tech company, Nvidia, right at the heart of the AI revolution, trying to navigate this incredibly complex web of geopolitics, security fears, and market demands.
Yeah, it really shows how technology isn't just commercial anymore. It's deeply political.
Absolutely. These chips, they're not just pieces of silicon. They've become strategic assets, almost like weapons in this global power dynamic. It changes everything.
So the big question going forward is, how do we balance this?
Exactly. How do nations, how do companies balance the need for innovation, for global supply chains, with these really serious national security concerns, especially as AI gets even more powerful.
Definitely something to think about as this AI era keeps unfolding. Thanks for diving into the sources with us today.
Yeah, fascinating stuff.
We hope this gave you some surprising facts, maybe some new insights to chew on.
For the latest tech insights, visit em360tech.com.